Hello, folks. Welcome to week 5 this week. And it's John with you here again. And this week, this is a short instructor video, a brief overview video again of our virtual lab and our application activity. And this week, we'll be working a lot with green infrastructure. And if you're taking a look at the overview on Blackboard here along with me, green growth, sustainability, this global citizen concept, global trends are what we're trying to get an idea of. We'll have some neat discussion forums going on, but we'll also have some technical aspects related to sustainability and environmental planning and address some of these in the overview video. But today, specifically in this video, you'll see here that I'll be giving you a brief orientation to the week 5 virtual lab right here, green-based landscaping idea. It's a virtual lab, nothing due for turn-in for that. And then also a very brief overview of the application activity with more of the planning and the design considerations as a technologist or marketing person or business-oriented individual, things that you may want to be aware of. So I'll be stepping you through that, or both of those, through this short video right here. So let's go ahead and take a look. And actually, before I go any further, while these are published out to my YouTube channel through school here, all these videos with Tegrity, these are recorded with Tegrity. In the future, Tegrity will no longer be active here for us, but you can find these at least in the current year that they're offered here, located in the table of contents in Blackboard under Tegrity classes. If you wanted to see the video in YouTube, my video of me is not being shown in YouTube, but just the screen and my audio will be captured in YouTube. But for now, my own video of me is also included in Integrity. Not that anybody wants to see me there, I don't blame you. But let's go ahead nevertheless and take a look at the virtual lab exercise. So let's go ahead and click on that and we'll open up this document. And as before, as with week 4, this week is largely consisting of small scale little tutorials, nothing that's going to take a ton of your time, but it's going to give you some ideas of what goes on with a spatial perspective inside of sustainability and this green global citizenship and whatnot. So let's take a look here at the guide, just like we did in week 4 last week. Let's go ahead and access our ArcGIS online account. So go ahead and either click Control on your keyboard and then we'll left click into that. And this takes us to our Windows, not our Windows, but our Internet Explorer. And I'm going to go into my Google Chrome just because I work in that a little bit more. But another way to gain access to that is just simply arcgis.com. So if we go into that, let's go ahead and go under sign in. So we're going to go ahead and sign in to our account. And recall from week 4, this shouldn't be anything new for you. But in week 5, once again, you will want to take your username and password, again, not your St. Mary's. So I'm going to type this in here again, not your SMU login. This will be your ESRI login that you received in that email from ESRI that I referred to last week in week 4. So yours will be your first initial with your second, followed by your last 4 characters of your last name, or the first 4 characters of your last name, followed by your year. So your year would be consistent with the St. Mary's, but so I'm going to go ahead and log into that. And mine will be different for admin, just set up a little bit differently than yours. And go ahead and select login. And while that's happening here, let's see, I'm going to pull back up our document to work along. So once you log in, you should see a screen that might look similar to mine, which may say home, gallery, maps, etc., whatever the menu options are, but your name in the upper right-hand corner. And just like what we did last week, we're going to select the training option. So I'm just following along in number 4 on this guide. We're going to select our training option, and then I go into our course catalog again. So I'm going to go down here to training and select that. And then next, what I'll do, I'm just following along here at number 5. Once that comes up for us, let's go ahead and select our catalog option, or go ahead and just hover your cursor over that, and then come down and over to course catalog. Okay. Once we're inside of our course catalog, trying to show the screen and have my papers here in front of me, then let's go ahead and type in there, Introduction to Green Energy. So I scroll down. Again, we should be at this stage here where we have a search window. And let's go ahead and we'll type this in, the Introduction to Green Energy. Just going to copy that. And by right-clicking on that or selecting Control-C with your text highlighted. And then I'm going to Control-V or right-click and then paste and then search. So again, this is very similar to last week. And here is our course, and you'll see that on our virtual lab guide. That's what this looks like. The one that you will be looking for, this Introduction to Green Infrastructure. So it might take an hour, probably tops. And once you're inside of this, just like you did last time, you can launch or begin the course. I'll show you what that looks like. And then all you have to do is follow the slides and read along in the table of contents. And you shouldn't need any special software, but you will need internet access for this one. And then at the end, you can take the exam. It's kind of fun to see how you did overall. But if you have any questions about any of this, let me know, even if it's just content related. We can go through that together. But let's go ahead and open this up so you can see what this looks like. And this one will be working with, I like to think of this as asset management a little bit. So one thing that you'll find with a lot of this GIS technology is that it's really industry independent. So it's not dependent on just one industry. You can use this technology in everything. In a few weeks prior, we were talking about how GIS is so exciting because it can be used in any field. That's the value of this technology. When we talk spatial analytics, dealing with data intelligence, that's really where the value is inside that versatility. That's why the technology is a part of your course, to give you that added market piece and that added enhancement that you can use in your careers. So this is about more or less strategic planning, as I like to think of it. It applies to a little bit more of this green infrastructure, natural resources a little bit, but think of it in a bigger picture of asset management, whether you're in business or natural resources. Assets are assets. That's what it's about. So I'm going to go ahead and, being that I've been in this course before, I'm going to select resume, but for you it would be to begin the course. And where you will want to start off is right up at the top here with an introduction and some of the learning objectives. There should be no software requirements or whatnot. And so you'll be learning about generally workflow. What does it mean to be planning this as a planner or a consultant or whatnot? So looking at this green infrastructure, green planning, there's a small exercise down here as well. But the flow of these little short tutorials are designed to give you a bigger picture perspective of how this whole geospatial industry ties together, at least this week in week 5 in the green infrastructure context. So that is for our virtual lab here for week 5. Again, nothing is due for that. And that, though, nonetheless, will help prepare you for the application activity. So this week 5 virtual lab will help prepare you for our next, I call it more or less an integrated tutorial. It's a little bit more expanded than our virtual lab up here. So I'm going to get some of my notes pulled up for this, and then we'll be right back with you and give you a brief overview of that. Okay, everyone, welcome back. We'll continue our session briefly, giving you an overview of our week 5 application activity. And this application activity works a little bit more with data, getting into more of the intelligence aspects that we can glean from our data when it's approached and delivered through kind of this green theme of week 5 that we're in here. So let's go ahead and open up our little tutorial or the guideline that I have for you. And please read through each one of those steps and the directions that I provided for you. And we'll talk about what's coming at the end of the activity. But in short, this will be another applied tutorial where you'll be able to apply some of what you learned about in the virtual lab to this application activity. And then there'll be a little exam at the end. Nothing really too hard. You can go back and retake this as many times as you'd like. What we're looking for is to try to get you at a score of about 8 out of 10, ideally a perfect 10 out of 10, but we don't, the demands of life that maybe not always realistic. So we'll show you how to make a screen capture and then paste that in a Word document. Perhaps everybody's aware of that, but I won't assume that, so that I can try to help you to the best that I can here. So let's go ahead and open up our week 5 application activity here, and we'll follow along. And the purpose of this application activity is to give you, again, some of the bigger picture management, understanding of the data intelligence pieces of data when applied to infrastructure planning model and sustainability. So we'll be learning in this application how to evaluate data and really glean new meaning from how data can be applied in this green sustainability global citizenship model. And then what are ways, if you're in the consulting world or even marketing things, assets, again, that we want to be aware of. So just like we did before, let's go ahead and open up your arcgis.com. And when you click on that link, you will come back to our page here that we're all familiar with, and the same thing applies. So we're going to go ahead and select let's go back over here. So application activity. So let's go in here, and once we're logged into our ArcGIS Online account, we're going to click in our SMU organization here under our icon profile. This is right next to the series of 9 dots here. So we're not, I don't think, going to be really clicking on that quite yet here, but let's go ahead and launch or go in here to our training. And then we'll go to our catalog again. So we'll wait for that to come up. Okay, folks, and I just took a break there. I noticed that there was a direction in there under the former number 6 that said to click on the app launcher, the series of dots right up here. You are not going to need to do that. That's coming in a few more weeks, where we'll be working more with the independent version of Business Analyst here. But by all means, you can certainly go in there right now and tinker away and have some fun. So, I mean, I encourage you to do that, but it's not going to be part of our application activity. So I removed that out of there, so my apologies for that. But once we're logged into your SMU organization, we're going to click on the icon profile and then select training, just like what we've done before. So when we selected our training right here, and then we're going under the catalog option one more time. As I mentioned, this is a little bit more of an integrated tutorial, and that's fine. I think we'll get some good things out of that. And then in number 7 right here, moving 7 into 8, we're going to search for this workshop called Building the Foundation. So go ahead and copy that. Right click and copy, or Control C, copy Building the Foundation for Green Infrastructure Planning. And what we'll do is we'll search for that course and then paste that in here and then search. So, okay. And the first one up here in the upper left, that is the return that we will see. That's the one that we want to begin. And so once we find that, go ahead and click on the course and go ahead and begin the course. And so you want to begin and launch that course. And then, just like we've done before, follow the instructions and review the slides And then when we come to the exercises, we're going to again look at the web mapping application. We will not be doing anything with desktop. So if you do see that, we won't be using that. But again, no special software at this point, just internet access. A lot of this data is everything's pre-canned, I guess. So that's okay to do. So in short, just follow the directions. So let's go ahead and look at this course. And again, this one happens to be dealing with habitat cores, but once again, we'll be thinking about it as general asset management or general asset considerations. So we'll open this up and show you a little bit about what this looks like. And part of the introduction provides a nice little background on variables. So we want you to start thinking about variables. In other words, what are the criteria? What are the input data that you will need to make any analysis possible in business? So we like to think of those sometimes as data layers. So those will be our variables. We want you to start thinking about those things. And this exercise starts to give us some variables to think about, as we did in week 4, to variables, data layers. And we'll be working with, in future labs, variables and then criteria. So our criteria really are our numeric definitions of what defines good or not good for what we want. So it's really the defined numbers or the quantifiable means of the data that we want to take out of our variables. So, but we'll be learning more about that. So then just follow along here. Let's take a look at a couple of these exercises, and you'll be able to work through these. And I think we have here, just going to take a peek at our directions just to make sure I'm right on board here with you. Let me pull that up. Okay, so once we are at our exercises here, we will just be following along with what they are asking us to do. So, it's simple just to enter in these basic directions here and then follow along with what they're suggesting that we do. So anyway, what I like about these exercises, little tutorials, but exercises are neat too, is that they do provide here for us, ESRI provides output so we can test, or not test, but compare our results to the results of the model there. So these might take you, the exercises, I don't know, maybe a little over an hour, depending on how fast you're going through that. But then at the end, here's the exam. So I'm looking right here now at number 12 in our application activity. And at number 12, we will take this exam, and there should be 10 questions. So again, we're looking to try to see if you can get at least 8, but you can retake this as many times as you would like. And that's what's specified here in our document. So right here, number 11 and 12. And once you are able to complete your exam, you'll get a little certificate, which I encourage you to you could put that in a portfolio or list it on your resume too of courses complete, because these tutorials that you're able to access through St. Mary's are not available just for anyone. Some of them may be free, but you have to still be part of an organizational account to access them. So they are actually pretty valuable courses for you to consider including on your resume. So consider that. But anyway, in number 12, 13 here, how to take a screenshot. One of the ways that you can do this is simply by selecting a print screen, which I like to do myself, just a simple print screen on your keyboard. And then let's open up a Word document. And as that's opening up, I give some directions in the document here on how to do that. We come back over here, show you here, number 13, how to do that. To take a screenshot or a screen capture, maybe you have some software that does this too, that's fine. But after you do a screenshot, by either selecting, in my case, it was an FN and then print screen, or sometimes you can hit control V to capture your active window. But in any event, what we'll have you do then is paste that in an open Word document. So for me, I'm just going, you could either select a right-click paste or just Control V and then paste in your score. So if you got 9 out of 10, great. And then just save, your name. So you can type in there, maybe week 5. It doesn't really matter there. Application activity results. And then you can type in your name, and then of course, we'll see your score there. So then save your document. So go up under File and then Save, and then I'm not going to save mine here, but in this case, what we'll have you do then is upload this right here into your week 5 application activity. So if you were to go into that, you'll be able to upload that. But if anybody has any problems with that, let me know so that I can work with our ed tech folks to make sure that you're able to upload everything that you need to for the course, not only this application activity, but for other things as well. So if you have any questions, again, on anything for week 5, please let me know. And I'm not sure if our site went down here again, perhaps, but nevertheless, I think we have what we need here to move forward. So we wish you a happy week this week, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week in week 6.